Good. So good night again, everyone. Good night. Good night. Um, happy to be here with you guys again tonight. And we're gonna start tonight off by looking at some trades that we caught for the first 2 days of the trading week, and also some potential setups that we have for the remaining of the week. And then I'm gonna go into structure, but this time I'm gonna add the imbalance zone, right? So we're gonna practice identifying structure and the imbalance zone, right? Now, when I am going through structure, I'm not just gonna look at, identifying the highs and lows on the particular time frame, but we actually gonna look at how to assess the direction of the trade. So how do we know whether we're gonna look for the market to go up or down, right? And that's to give persons a sense of direction when they're trading, because often not persons might be able to mark up charts but not understand the direction. Should I be looking for a buy? Should I be looking for a sell? Is it a long-term buy? Is it a short-term sell? And I think that this is very important for us as upcoming traders to know. Right? So we're gonna go through that. All right, so let's start first. So first trade for the week was USD CAD, right? So this is UCAD, and like I told you guys, I have UCAD to come up to this zone, right? And then I actually looking for UCAD to sell off of this zone and then drop, because overall this is really a break and retest. Here, right? So if we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we had a break of structure, right? Price actually never came back and retest this zone for continuation sell, right? So now what we're having is price coming around to test this zone so that, we can look for a bounce off of this zone to the downside. All right, so right now we're in the buy, and everybody more likely should still be in this trade. We have been consolidating for the last 2 days. Today we saw some profit and the market did spike up. However, it did not break and hold, right? So we're still back in this consolidation at the moment, right? So we can still continue to hold this because my bias has not changed at all, right? Still have it to push up to here. So we can continue to hold that for sure. Some other setups that we had, because this one is gone, right, was Euro NZD. We started the week with this as well. This was a fantastic trade. What we had here was the market pushed up. No, last week we managed to get entry from here to this height, right? As you can see, I had told you guys last week Friday to close Euro NZD because it was failing to break the 1-hour high and creating a double top. Don't know if anyone remember me saying that in the chat, but I did. And then from there, the market sold, went to the downside, and came back into this imbalance zone. This is why I called my buy position here, right? So the reason why I took the buy from this point is because we had a nice imbalance zone. So price tested here and then started to make its move back up. So this was a nice 100 pip move to start the week, right? So this was good for sure. One thing I want you to know as well is that on Mondays, the market may tend to move a bit slow. So you would have times where the market consolidates a lot, or there are some Mondays when the market just, have a lot of movement, right? But you need to be open-minded that either or could happen. So, yeah, well, yesterday into today, the market was moving, quite slow with Euro and ZE. But then today, it just took off and we managed to secure the 100 pips there. Currently we are in GBP USD for the sell. So we had a really, really nice entry, right? What I did was when I sent out this chart to you guys, when the market was around here, I actually set a limit order at the entry, which is 136.068. So what the market did was that it came and it literally activated my order and dropped instant, right? Instant, and never went back. So we have some movement. We're still in profit. We have some movement, but the market slowed down. Still holding this trade. At the moment, I have this at break even. So what I would like to see is the market start to push further to the downside during London. All right, so during London, I would like to see GU just push further to the downside. So I'm looking forward to that. AUD USD, we're in this as well at the moment, right? So again, my reason for entering this buy is because of this imbalance candle here, right? Price did not break the low, so we're still holding, and they gave us confirmation to get him basically for the buy to the upside. So definitely will be holding this setup, all right, to around this zone here, which is the imbalance zone. So 0.74757. So if you're not in AUD USD, you could look to get in still because it's around my entry. All right, stop loss is 0.73584. TP is 0.74757. Right? And the last setup that we are you guys would have closed out. I was trying to hold, but I didn't like it. I didn't like how it's pushing up. It had you guys in 40 pips drawdown, and I didn't like that. But I had like originally GA for the sell setup. I mean, I still do, but the momentum was not slowing down at all, right? Now, what I had was this imbalance zone. So price actually broke outside of my imbalance zone, right? And it was actually looking to completely invalidate this engulfing candle and my imbalance candle. But currently it paused, right? So we're still in that area, but I'll leave it alone because momentum is still with the buyers, right? Buyers still have some room to push the market to the upside. So I'm going to leave this one for now. All right. Now for the rest of the week, I am looking at goal for buy setup, right? So eventually I would like to see gold come down into this imbalance zone and then take off from here to the upside, right? So definitely this is my entry, right? So my entry is 1805.28, right? And you guys can have a tight stop loss. With gold, sometimes I tend to give it a little room until I can break even, right? The take profit that I have on gold is 1847.52, right? So entry is 1805.28, right? So what am I looking for with this? This is what I need to see. I need price to come into my imbalance zone. That's the first thing. So price needs to come into my imbalance zone, right? Once it gets there, so once it is here, I also need this, the signal line, to cross over into my red histogram. And then I will take my buy, right? Once those line up, I will take my buy for sure. All right, so I'm definitely interested in gold. Just waiting for it to come into this zone. And then Euro GBP. No, I had Euro GBP coming into this zone, into my imbalance zone, yesterday or earlier today. But for me, it wasn't at my entry. I have my entry at 0.85095. Right, 0.85095. So because it didn't come there, I did not bother to take the buy. I will wait to see if the market can give me a further push to the downside, right? If not, I will leave this one alone. Right, so that's it basically in terms of the outlook for the week. So now I want to, that's fine, no worries. Now I want to go through structure. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this class, I want to focus on structure and direction, right? I am going to talk a bit about imbalance as well, but definitely want to focus on structure and direction. Direction meaning you understanding where the trade is looking to go. Because it's one thing for you to drop your charts. It's another thing for you to actually understand what's happening on the chart and actually understanding how to read the direction of the trade. Where do we expect the trade to go? What's the long-term goal? Like, what's the long-term direction? So I'm gonna kick off with.
Just a minute. My system is gonna reboot in 5 minutes, so I ain't change systems. I come back. So talk slow, cause I want to be here for the original. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with USD JPY. All right. So USD JPY, I am going to start with a top-down analysis. So we're going to analyze it as if we don't know what's happening on the trade. All right, we're coming to it completely open-minded. All right, good. So first thing, I am on the daily time frame. I want to identify some structure, right? Yes, I am aware that I can see the market has been in an uptrend for the longest time. But I need to organize this chart, right? Basically. So in order for me to have some organization, we need structure, right? So I'm gonna come now. First, I'm gonna put on my MACD. And my MACD allows me to see the time frame that I am currently on, highs and lows. So it confirms the highs and low of the current time frame that you're on. Okay. So for the daily time frame, right, it's showing me that I have a daily low here. All right. And I have a daily high up here. Right. And then this is the recent one, the recent daily high. Right? So we got daily high here, here, and a daily low there. I'm good with that. All right? So we have some structure from the daily time frame. We can clearly see that we're in an uptrend. Everybody can see that, right? Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, right? Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, we want to start to really understand what's happening with price. And this is how we want you guys to start to visualize the chart, right? Now, when price is moving from one structure to the next, it breaks, it retests, and it goes, right? That is how the market works. It breaks, it retests, and it goes, right? Eventually, the market is going to come to a point where it's no longer going to go, and it's going to turn around and it's going to break, retest, and go opposite direction. So the market repeats the cycle: break, retest, and go. And all you need to do as a trader is to understand which direction did the market just break out of, like which structure did it just break out of. Did it break to the upside or did it break to the downside? Because if it broke to the upside, then I am looking for the retest so that I can go. Right? And if it's to the downside, I'm looking for the retest so that I can go. Right? So you want to remember that the market repeats this cycle over and over and over again. So as a trader, when you're coming to the charts, you want to organize the chart with some structure. Yes, we're going to look and see the current trend on the daily, the 4-hour, even on the 1-hour time frame with your naked eye, right? You can look and see that the market is either going up or is coming down, right? But most importantly, you need to have structure. So make sure you identify the highs and the lows, because by you actually putting structure on the chart, you can see if there was a break to the upside or if there was a break to the downside, and then you would know what to look for next. Okay, so right off the bat, and we're looking at this with the information that I just gave you, the market repeats a cycle. Yeah, it breaks, it retests, and it goes. So the market, for example, right, it breaks structure here, structure is broken, retest, and it continued up, right? Don't mind that it consolidate, fine, it continued up. But then after that, what happened? We had another breakout, right? So we had a break. What's the second one? The retest before we go. So looking at this with the naked eye, without even applying anything from the MACD, trend line, whatever other indicators that you guys use, right? I want you guys to be analytical traders. I want you to be able to read and see what the chart is actually telling you, right? So looking at this with the information that I gave you, we have a break of structure to the upside. So we have the break. The next thing is the retest, right? Structure was not, we didn't get a retest on structure, but the market is now coming down. So now you can start to get an understanding of what's happening on the market, because we had a break of structure here, right? We need structure to be retested, right? So therefore, I really looking for this to come down to this area, and then for it to go, break, retest, and go, right? It repeats the same cycle all the time. So on the 4-hour time frame, I can definitely say, okay, well, overall, I'm looking for the market to move to the upside, right? It's not quite ready as yet because this is structure here, right? This is structure. So the market is still far from this area here. Therefore, the market needs to start to sell towards that retest zone. So automatically, if you decide that you want to get into USD JPY while it's on its way down, you're going to be looking for sells, because you already know now the market has to come down to retest this zone. So the market is going to be pushing to the downside, but it's not going to be long term, right? Because we can see that long term, we're looking for USD JPY to continue to the upside. We are just completing number 2, which is the retest, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, if I could see that, then what else do we need? So we know, okay, we had a break. We need to get a retest here to continue to the up. If I want to participate in USD JPY, right now in between this zone, I am looking for sells. Until USD JPY gets into this zone, I definitely will be planning for my buy. So in that case, I now have to start to plan for myself. So I need to repeat the cycle that I would have started on the daily time frame. So on my smaller time frames now, I need to look for structure. I need to organize my chart, right? So I need to look for structure for the short-term sell. All right. Now we have the daily high here, which is also a 4-hour high, but we have a 4-hour low here. Right? So I'm going to drop down now to the 1-hour time frame. All right. And what am I seeing? I saw that we had a break of structure. Structure was broken. Right? Structure was broken. So if we have a break of structure, the cycle is break, retest, and go, right? So therefore, what am I looking for? I'm actually looking for the market to come back up to retest this current structure that we just identified so that we can continue the sell to the downside. Because we're heading towards our retest, right? We're heading towards our retest. Look, it's here. The zone is here to retest. Structure is here to retest. So all I am doing right now, right? Because we're going to now go against the trend. This is actually a counter trend trade, right? We've identified structure on a lower time frame. We have the break. We now need to wait for the retest. Then we're going to get him for our sell. Continuation to the downside. All right. Now, in a case like this, when I've identified that and I know what I'm looking for, then I can start to apply my short position tool because I'm looking for structure to be retested. And my advice is don't put your take profit in this case on structure itself, which is the retest zone, because just in case that, you know, it decides to retest 5 pips above structure or 10 pips above structure, you don't want that and miss your take profit. Plus, you want to give yourself some time to plan for the next setup too. All right, don't want jumping from one or going to next. So this will be my order because I'm looking for UJ to retest the structure that it broke. All right. I looking for structure to be retested and then the continuation to the downside. Does that make sense? I'm gonna pause for a second here and ask you guys if what I just said, is it coming together? You guys understand?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, you cleared up a lot with that breakdown.
Okay. Good. All right. So once you really identify structure and you understand what it is you're looking for, and you position your, in this case, my short order, right? Then you can start to get sweet entries once you understand, right? Once you understand, you can start to get sweet entries like the GU trade that I showed you guys I got in today. All right. So this is the analysis on UJ. Look at that. Like I didn't talk about UJ earlier. I'm telling you it now. So if you guys looking for potential trade setup for this week, I've just broken it down for you. We started from the daily and we did top-down analysis. I showed you on the daily what we're looking at.
Can we go another one because they missed the majority?
Yeah, I can do some more. Right, I showed you on the daily that we need to get the retest to continue to the upside and on the 4-hour time frame. But I also showed you that we're in a retest. Right now, we're looking to AJ on the daily. I'm gonna go to AJ next then, right? Right now, we're going into a retest. So UJ will be selling because it has to come down to retest structure. So therefore, if I'm looking at UJ for any type of setups right now, I'm looking for sell positions. So therefore, I need to identify my structure on smaller time frames. Why? Because on the bigger time frames, I'm looking for a retest for a buy. So the sell is not going to be something long term, because we're looking for a long term retest for a buy. So for the sell, we come down to a lower time frame to identify the structure, look for the zone to retest, and then get him for ourselves. All right. So that's the J. There's the analysis. That's the order as well. AJ. All right, let's look at AJ. All right, so let's repeat the same cycle. Okay, so we're on the daily time frame. Now, looking at AJ with the naked eye, I can see that AJ is in an uptrend. All right, on the daily. So let's start to organize this chart and add some structure. All right. So I can see a daily low here. I can see a daily high up here. Right? So this is a daily high, this is a daily low. I am also going to take this one here as well, daily low here. So we have some structure from the daily time frame. Okay. So what is the cycle? Right? The cycle is break, retest, and go. Right? Break, retest, and go. Right? Similar thing here. Break, retest, and go. That's the cycle. Every time structure is broken, look for that retest and go. All right. So we had a break and we had a retest. And we had to push back up to the upside. Now, if we look at AJ, we will notice that when price came back up to this last high, it did not break. So you didn't get the breakout. But we know that we completed the break, we completed the retest, and we in the process of the go, right? Because it didn't break us yet, but we know we're looking for it, right? So what did the market do? The market came up to this daily high. It failed to break. So the cycle still repeats itself. It failed to break, and that's fine. We're gonna look for a break, a retest, and a go, right? No, gonna drop down to the 4-hour time frame, right? Let's look for structure on the 4-hour. See what's happening here. So I have a 4-hour high here, right? We got 4-hour low here, and we have one here. I'm gonna stick to this one here for now, right? And I don't need anything else because it was only that one. Let me just change that color. So that's the 4-hour. Good. All right. So let's repeat the cycle because we're on the 4-hour time frame, right? We already know on the daily that price went back up to the daily high and failed to break it, and it's coming back down. So we're gonna come down to the 4-hour time frame for us to understand what's really happening with price. Okay, so we identified a 4-hour high here. We already know this was a daily that it rejected. So what's really happening here now? And the story should start to come together, and we should really start to feel a little excited about this now, right? Because on the 4-hour time frame, what it's telling me, the reason why it is also failing to break here at the daily high is because we had a 4-hour break, but we never got the 4-hour retest to continue to the upside. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So we had the cycle here. We had the break. Right? We had the break, but we never got the retest on the 4-hour time frame. So what is price currently doing? It's completing the cycle. It's now going into retest structure on the 4-hour time frame so that we can complete the third step, which is the go. Right? So therefore, what I am looking for, we had the break. We're now in the retest. And then we're gonna look for that go. Everybody with me? Am I making sense? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Am I moving too fast?
Totally clear, coach.
Good. Right? Good. So now, if we understand that we're looking at the 4-hour retest, you have two options because we know we are in retest mode, right? The two options are you either gonna trade the retest, which means it will be a counter trend trade, means that you're going in the opposite direction of the trend, right? So you'll be looking for self, or you're going to wait for your retest to get your setup to go with the trade, right? And trade with the trend and continue to the upside. Those are your two options at this point. Either counter trend trade or wait for the setup and trade with the trend. Yeah, definitely both, right? Both of them look great for the counter trend and for trading with the trend, right? Now, if I was looking at getting in for this counter trend trade, all right, I cannot do it based on the 4-hour time frame. Why? Because in all of this, the 4-hour actually did not create a low as yet. If you look at the MACD, you have to read and see what's happening in front of you. You will notice that the MACD created a 4-hour high, but it didn't. It has not created that 4-hour low as yet. So if I am doing a counter trend trade here, I have to drop down another time frame. Why? Because the counter trend is short term. Because long term, we can see that really and truly what we want to get into is for the buys, because the buy setup is actually the long-term trade. Right? So if we're getting in for the counter trend trade, we drop down now to the 1-hour time frame. And in this case, we start to look for lows and highs to take short setups, to take some short setups until we get to the retest zone, right? So we do have here, we have a 1-hour low here. We also had one here as well. I'm gonna mark that one. So there are two lows that we have. We have one here and one here. Okay, good. So if we were looking at getting into this, right? You had a break of structure here. What happened? You had a retest of structure there, cycle repeating itself, and then okay, then we had a break of structure here. And what do you think is happening now? What do you think we're looking for now? The retest here and go. So now what I'm looking for with odd JPY for short term, I want to see this come up. And then I want to take this cell setup down to my down to here. That's the next move. And this probably is going to be the last run that it does before it starts to really prepare for the buy. This retest now is probably the last run it's going to do to the downside, right? Before it starts to, before the JPYs, all of them actually start to prepare to buy for a number of reasons too. It's starting to get some divergence and stuff on my MACD. So everybody understood what happened there on AJ? You see where it failed to break the daily high? You see the cycle has not completed itself on the 4-hour time frame. We understand now what we're waiting on the 1-hour time frame. Everybody with me? Fantastic. Give me another trade, another pair. Give me another pair. We're gonna do another example.
I put my USD CAD in the chat, but it's still confused with us.
All right, so let's go to okay. All right, so I'm gonna go to GSHAF and then I'm gonna come to UCAD in the end. Because I think I went through UCAD already, but we're gonna go through that. All right, so let's look at GSHAF. Okay, daily time frame. Right, so on the daily time frame, we can see that, you know, we've been consolidating. There's no actual trend that's happening right now, but I can see something. Anyhow, let's start with some structure. Let's get some organization on the chart here, right? On the daily. Right, so we got daily low here. We have a daily high up here. Just change the color there. Set back to black. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I also have a daily high in between here. Okay. Okay. So we have our daily structure, right? Now, can anybody just tell me what is happening now with GSHAF? Anybody could tell me what's happening now with GSHAF?
Indecision?
No. No. Yes, we know that overall is consolidation, but we went through the cycle just now. So can someone?
We had a bread.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bread and we are now getting the retest coach.
Yes, we are definitely. So on the daily time frame, if you look, I notice this is a daily high here. I have here based on the MACD, we have some daily highs. And what do we have here? We have a break of that daily high, right? So price actually give us the breakout, right? So what's happening now? Price is coming back to give us the retest, and we're very, very, very close to that retest zone for structure, right? Because don't forget, break, retest, come down to here, and then we're looking for the market to push up.
So a counter trade on this pair will be very choppy.
A counter
Like-
trade on this, you would have had to get in earlier up. In my opinion, I think right now is a bit too risky.
Yeah, I know, but I mean because of how the candles form up here. This is why I'm asking if, like, you know, suppose you realize, okay, so the market at the high and it has to retest. It's looking a bit choppy, these candles here. I know G-Chef is a funny pair too.
Yep.
But I can see it's very close to the retest because it heading now coming back to these daily highs that were broken.
Exactly. Right? So it is a very choppy pair, right? And just to note as well, most chef pairs are, right? So you'll find that a lot of people tend to stay away from chef pairs because they're quite choppy, right? So in this scenario, we have the break to the upside, right? And now we're going through the retest, right? And you can see it right here on the daily. We didn't even have to drop down as yet to really see and understand what's really happening, right? So if I am looking at setups for a G-Chef, right, in the coming days or whatever, I am looking to plan a buy setup. So I am looking to buy G-Chef, right? I am looking to buy G-Chef, right? If I was looking to sell G-Chef, I would have preferred to sell closer here because right now I think selling G-Chef is a bit risky, right? But let's see. Let's drop down. Okay. So we have a lot of consolidation. I mean, looking at this, I probably won't even want to trade it myself, but a lot of consolidation, right? All right, so let's get some structure on the forward time frame. Okay, so we have a high here. We have some highs here, right? On the forward time frame, we also have some lows here, right? I'm gonna put it there, right? Good. Put it here. Okay, cool. All right, so what we have is price consolidating for all of this time, and then we got the breakout to the downside. Right, so everybody can see we had the break to the downside, right? Now, I'm gonna drop down to the 1 hour time frame because it's a counter time trade, right? And what we had was the break. This was the retest for the sell, but you can see it here. So break, retest, drop. All right. So like I said, I mean, this was not a bad retest, but we are very, 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 very close to that retest to the upside. Okay. So I would leave it alone for now. And what I would do instead is to start to set some alerts, maybe probably at the bottom of current structure. So at the bottom of here, could set some alerts down here so that price can alert you when it has broken that structure to start to prepare for your move to the upside, right? Because overall, we're looking to catch that move, right? We're looking for that. Okay. So a retest the structure and a push to the upside. All right. So that is G-Chef. Yeah, like I said, we'll leave that alone. And last but not least, USD CAD. Let's look at UCAD. Okay, so daily time frame. All right. To see that we're in a downtrend. We're in a downtrend. Market is actually giving us a strong, this is actually a strong trend, to be honest, right? We just get some pullback, but the trend is actually pretty strong. Okay, so let's get some structure, right? Okay, so I have a daily high here. I have a daily low here, right? This setup actually is going to be really good, to be honest, long term. Right. All right. So daily high, and this is also daily high here as well. All right. Daily low down here. Okay. So that's what we have so far. Everybody can see that. Good. All right. So what do we have so far? Before I actually drop down to the forward time frame, the cycle is break. So we had a break here. Okay. Retest. We had a retest here. And then we now look for the market to go. Right? And the market is actually currently in that go stage. So let's drop down to the forward time frame and see what's really happening here. All right. So I have a 4-hour low here. Okay. So we have a 4-hour low here. This is structure. Okay, we have structure here. I'm getting a little excited about this, not gonna lie. All right. So we already know. Notice what I finished off saying about the daily time frame. We had the break, we had the retest, and we are currently in the go stage. That's on the daily time frame. So what is that telling you about USD CAD? Overall, we're looking for long-term sells, right? Long-term sells, right? Now, don't mind that we were in some long positions. The long positions that we were in was to bring us, it was actually a counter trade. It was to bring us back to this retest, right? Is where again a little excited. So this is structure. We had the break on the 4-hour time frame structure, right? And we are now in the retest mode, right? It's no time for retest. So what am I looking for? I'm actually looking for my sell continuation here. So I want to see the market push up to here, right? In this zone. Right? So I want to see the market push to this zone And you could look for that long-term cells. Because what you had was the break, and then from the break, the retest, and then the continuation. And where are we looking for that? Because on the daily time frame, we're in the last stage of that cycle. Because we had the retest. The retest was here for the daily. So we're in the go stage. All right. So on the smaller time frames, you're looking for that entry to continue now the journey. Smaller time frames, on the forward time frame, you had a break. And we know in the retest mode so that we can then continue to the downside. Everybody understand UCAD?
Yeah.
That was clear?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No. Yeah.
Okay, great.